welcome to Noontime Project Recipe. This is the rescheduled project recipe for September from last week. I apologize for that. Was just getting back from Australia and my brain was just not quite working. I'm not really promising. Oh, what was that? I'm not really promising my brain is quite back to normal yet, actually. But we're here, and that's what's great. We're going to do a noontime project recipe. Hello, Faith. I'm excited about doing that. And then I'll be back tonight at 7 to do tool time with Tara, and that will also be fun. So you have a 2 for Tuesday with Tara today, if you're up for it. And I know sometimes in particular these noontime ones are hard, and they're probably sneaking up on people. They just didn't even realize I was me on. I feel like maybe I should have spent more than 10 seconds on my hair today as I'm looking at myself. It's a little scary. This humidity, the rain is just never ending. So, you know what to do if you have been here before and you're watching live, and that is to like and also comment. That is how the little bot will find you and add you for the drawing for some CM credits. So a lot going on at CM right now. In fact, I'm going to pop on over there just in case you haven't seen. Let's see. Let me do this. Oh, where'd you go? Come back. Oh. Okay. All right. So, Creative Memories has a lot going on right now, but in particular, if you saw my post on Facebook, there is a special re-release of some border makers. So this is the cool new Wonderful Day collection, which if you loved the wood grain paper that was available previously, then you want to jump on that. It was out in a small pack that was like for advisors only. I gave it away a bunch, and everyone always loved it. And I feel like I use it all the time. I don't know what it is with me and wood grain, but there's a new border maker cartridge out called the Square Link chain. I feel like it's going to be super versatile. But it's on my order, so I'll get to play with that very soon. I just ordered yesterday. But do you notice these re-releases of the border maker cartridges? So flip-flops, footprints, the one with the little car and the truck, the on the road, the ornament chain, and the party hats and the rolling hills. Okay, so those 6 are re-released. They're a bring back. If you don't have any of them, you can get the whole bundle. But I want to draw your attention to the fact that 5 of the 6 are marked hot, which means they're selling faster than Creative Memories anticipated, which means if you had your eye on any of those because you wanted to add them to your collection, that means do not delay. So if you win the CM credits for today, then that would be a good way to spend them. So if you're a collector of border maker cartridges, like I said, and though some of those are on your list, then you will want to not delay. Okay, so in the feed drawing today, you must be present in the feed. So hello to all of you that are hanging out with me right now. don't go anywhere because you do need to be in the feed to win $10 in CM credits today. All right, many thanks if you subscribe to me on YouTube. And hello, Kathleen. I see you watching on YouTube. Appreciate you watching on YouTube today. Crop for Gray and Gold is just a couple weeks away, and I only have a few spots left. You know how I love to sell this out year after year. When you register, you'll be taken to cannonballs.org, the Cannonballs for Cane Foundation website. So you're making a direct donation to the website for your seat at the crop. So when it starts to look a little strange, like the checkout process is a little different for my other events, that's why all that registration money going straight to the foundation. There's about 40 people signed up so far. Like I said, just a few spots left, and we definitely want to fill the room for that. Virtual crop is coming up this weekend. If you purchased a secret box and you weren't at Mount Dora and you didn't zoom in with us to open it in Mount Dora, then this is the official opening day is this Friday. So if you opened it early, after Friday at 5 p.m. is when you can post those beautiful pages you've made using the contents inside. And of course, I will be giving away some CM credits. I'll post those sketches for the virtual crop on Friday when they're released from Creative Memories. And then when you post what you've made, just do add hashtag Daytona Area Scrapbooking to your post so that I can see what you've created and enter you to win some CM credits. And that is some low-hanging CM credits, I will have to say. Usually we only have a few people, maybe 2 or 3, that do virtual crop sketches during the virtual crop and in that time frame. So if you're looking to score some free shipping on your next order, then maybe just do a page or 2 and for the virtual crop, and you have a pretty good chance of getting some CM credits from me. All right, Croptoberfest is October 18th and 19th this year. It's at Westminster by the Sea Presbyterian Church. Most of my crops during the year, or I would say half of my crops during the year that are in town are held at the VFW in Port Orange, and the other ones I hold at Westminster by the Sea Church. So the registration has been open. It's been open for a couple weeks now. So if you're someone that watches my lives every week, then that isn't news to you. However, I'm shocked to find out that the customer buy it all bundle is already sold out at Creative Memories. So you can still get the project recipe, you can still get the card stock, but some of the other things that were only included in the customer buy it all bundle are sold out. So they've, the buy it all bundle sold out. So when you go to register on my website for Croptoberfest, you will see that that option is sold out, and that's why. But like I said, you can still get the project recipe. And so I'll have a class at Croptoberfest where I'll walk you through the process of that project recipe. You're also going to get a 8x8 paper album as part of your registration, just like we did just like I did with National Scrapbook Day. So still lots of fun to be had, but those of you that like to get all the things, unfortunately, if you didn't just purchase them, like throw them on an order when you were ordering for the free shipping promo, then unfortunately they are gone. But we're going to have a great time at Croptoberfest. I'm going to make my famous chicken chili, and we're going to have a great time. All right, so tonight Tool Time with Tara. We're going to use the rustic truck punch. That's part of the Croptoberfest offerings. And since the pinking and the colonial are back in stock, the fun blades for the CM trimmer, I'm going to play with those again tonight. So we're going to have a good time on Tool Time with Tara. I'm going to do this live, and then I'm going to get some other work done, and then I'm going to come back and do another live. So you'll get your fill of me today for sure. All right, and then next Tuesday, Techie Tuesday, is at noon. It usually is because I have DAR, Daughters of the American Revolution meeting on the third Tuesday of the month. And so I usually do my Techie Tuesday at noon. I find that most people watch my Techie Tuesdays recorded, so that works out. But if you are able to join me live, then you could be entered to win some CM credits. So that's next Tuesday at noon. And then just as a reminder, I do have in the feed drawing today. Thanks to everyone that said hello already in the chat. Like I said, don't go anywhere. You do need to be present to win that. And now we're getting ready to do our project recipe. So today, I'm going to be working on pictures from my retreat in Savannah, Georgia, which is retreat number 46. Aw, thanks for joining, Lori. I'm glad you were able to join on your lunch. I'm going to be working on pics from Savannah. You were there. And that was in, when was that? 2021, February 2021. That was a great retreat. I would love to somehow work that back into the mix. But Savannah has like one not peak weekend that you can book, and it's the end of February, which was a nice time to be there, honestly. But I just haven't been able to work it back into the rotation. We had a great time in Mount Dora this weekend at the retreat to the lake, and that was my 67th retreat, amazingly. So anyway, getting up there with retreats. Well, hey, Rosie, I'm so glad everyone's able to join on their lunch today. And let's see, we finished the Sisterhood of the Traveling Sketchbook. We worked on the 101 sketchbook that Creative Memories put out for their birthday promo last October. And many of you have asked how to get that book. So stay tuned. Creative Memories the last few years has done a promo in conjunction with their birthday. So there might be one of those coming up in October for their birthday. So that is coming up quick. And let me switch this camera over so that we can get to work on this project recipe. Why don't we? Oh, I think this might be zoomed in for card class. I did not fix that before. We look a little tilty. I don't know why this doesn't look very bright. Probably because I have all white. I have white paper. That's why. Get out of here, white paper. You're messing up the light. Okay. Maybe that's a little better. I tried to go live from Mount Dora and realized that my mic was muted. So some of you were able to join live, and then I ended up deleting that video. But like I said, we had a great time. So this is not the recipe we're going to do, but I wanted to show you it because my Camp Wanna Scrap a Lot, this is one of the things that you got over the summer at Camp Wanna Scrap a Lot. It was the beginner project recipe for quarter 2. So, and my Camp Wanna Scrap a Lot was in June, and you got the embellishments and this welcoming woodblock paper prints paper pack. So these are still available. So if you like the papers and the embellishments you see, I can set one aside from you. I still have a couple, and actually I can still order them. So they come with these. But I'm going to just use so I'm not doing that project recipe. We're doing the school days project recipe. Of course, I'm not doing a school page, but I am. And I'm not using the books, the bookshelf. What is this? I forget what that's called. I used that on Tool Time last month with the books that came out with the School Days collection. So I'm using paper from that Welcoming Wood Blocks kit. Felt like they went well with my Savannah pictures. And so, yeah, we're going to dive right into this. Now, one thing that I always look at I needed 3 papers, and I always look at which ones need reverse. So this page and this page was a reverse, which means you use both sides of the paper. Now, if you've watched me in the past, then you know that sometimes that gets me a little tripped up because sometimes I don't like the reverse of the paper, but those papers are touching. So this time, as I was picking my paper, I looked at it and I thought, oh, this is good, because the blue, this sheet right here that's pictured in blue on your sketch, it says these are the reverse. So these mats are going to be the reverse side of the paper. However, they are not touching the other piece. So where I've run into trouble in the past is where I haven't wanted to use the back side of the paper because it didn't really go with the vibe I was creating with my page, but they were touching. And so that posed a problem. These are not touching. So I am, in fact, not going to use the reverse side of the paper, or maybe not. I'm going to try it. And then the same with this one. I was so excited. So this one that is designed to use the reverse of this paper that's pictured in green, but you can see this green strip here and this green strip here are not touching this mat. So again, that opens me up to another option where I don't have to use the back if I don't want to. And in fact, that's going to be important for me today because I'm actually using a white piece of cardstock as one of these sheets for the mats. And so there is no reverse. The reverse is the same as the front. So that helped me decide that. So whenever I sit down with a project recipe, and if you haven't signed up or RSVP'd for today, you can definitely still go out to Daytona area scrapbooking and RSVP right now. We'll excuse you from class. I won't be doing the drawing right this second. Go RSVP so you get the link for the project recipe. That way you can come back and do this later. But whenever I do sit down to do a project recipe, those are the things I consider before I go hunting for the paper. I have my pictures, so I kind of know the colors I'm looking for. And I will say one of the things we used to teach at the strip and triangle class way back in the day. Well, maybe it wasn't strip and triangle class. Maybe it was the next iteration of the home class. Is that a blue or green is going to go with your pictures like 80% of the time. So these are my pictures, and here's I ended up picking, this I told you my brain is still broken from jet lag or retreat. I came back from Australia on Tuesday. I had Wednesday to prep for the retreat, and Thursday I was in Mount Dora with 37 ladies. So my brain is still recovering. But anyway, I think this is clay. Anyway, this light tan cardstock that we have at Creative Memories, I decided to use that, and then I've got blue and green going on from that pack. So those are going to be my bases. I'm going to set those aside, and then I've got, and you can see the colors, definitely greens and blues are gonna go well with that. Now I have done this in the past as well. I print two on a 4x6 because it calls for two 4x3 photos. So you can just, when you print your 4x6s, of course, you could just trim them to 4x3, and that's what most people do. But for these retreat pages, because a lot of them are groups or a lot of them have bigger things going on, sometimes I do it like that. So in case you're wondering about that. All right, on with the show. Let's start cutting. So this first piece here, which is the yellow on your guide, is the one that the punches are punched out of. Now, the book punch that was used in this is a punch that stays attached to the paper. So the books actually could have worked, right? Because we're scrapbooking. But I ended up picking the Floral Peaks border punch. And so it's got this kind of flower, and it's a really nice border. It's sometimes I talk about borders that are underappreciated. I feel like this is an underappreciated border. To me, it kind of looks like a bouquet because it has this type of angle going on, but I like that it's kind of gardeny, florally, geometric-y. It's got a lot going on, and I like it. So for this first one, it says 3 3 3/4 by 12 inches, cut, then punch. So we're going to listen to what it says, and we're going to do all our cutting, and then we're going to punch it. So let me get my favorite trimmer in the whole wide world. And I'm going to go to 3 3/4 and make sure that I've got it straight. And we're going to go 3 3/4. Oh, what just happened? Okay. My computer is very touchy, and I usually, use my laptop that's broadcasting this as like a table, and it was just pressing buttons. The paper was. Let me see if I can go up a little higher here, because usually I can get my whole workspace on here. Okay. All right, so I've got 2 3 3/4, and so then this piece should be 4 1/2, and it is. So now this is 4 1/2 by 3 1/2, 4 1/2 by 3 1/2, and then those little pieces. So 3 1/2, 3 1/2, and then we've got our piece here, and you can check this is 5 inches, so that's the orientation, 2 1/4 by 5. So I can check here that this is the 5, and I can go 2 1/4. Now I could have jumped over to my new trimmer for that. 2 1/4. For some reason this other piece didn't look like it was going to work, but yep. So if we just follow directions, all is well in the world. So I'm going to go ahead and cut my border next. Now I did a little class on these borders this weekend. And so some people didn't realize about these lines, and the lines line up with where the punch is going, and see that shows you the punch on the back. So what is here is mirrored here, and it's in this position. So when it has the lines where you want to start your punch on, it doesn't have to be exact to the line. You can start it in the middle if you want. If you want to start in the middle, it just has to start anywhere in between those lines. It depends on where you want that pattern to start. So if I start right up against that left side line, I'm going to get this whole pattern with my first punch. Now, what I was sharing with everyone this weekend was when the pattern is exactly repeated, sometimes it's hard to see out here where to start. So you could say, oh, well, this is matched, but you're actually going to punch over. You could punch over where you've already been. So on some of the punches, Creative Memories has added, do you see this little arrow notch? Okay, so that little arrow notch is on here, and that's your clue that you want to line that up. Now, depending on if you're lefty, righty, or left-oriented, right-oriented, you can push your paper either direction. I usually go this way. And what's important is that you don't tweak it here. You want to make sure that this side is flush up against the back of the trimmer, and that will give you a perfect punch and a continuing pattern that isn't interrupted and doesn't have little like steps going on in it. And sometimes, when people don't realize you start in between those, you can end up with a chunk at the beginning that isn't punched, and then you have to go back and do that, and then it's hard to line up. So just make sure you start in between the lines. Now, that is something that we sent into Creative Memories and asked for, because the first versions of these don't have those lines if you have a really old one. And so then people were marking with a Sharpie on the front, lining up where this line is to the front. So you can also just eyeball it. If you have an old one that doesn't have the markings, you can just put your paper in between, you know, where it's going to punch. All right, so while I was talking, I did the one. Now I'm going to do the next one. And so we're just going to line up that the little arrow and the design. Now another little trick. Or it's maybe just a reminder. It's not really a trick, but how did I know which punch when I looked up, you know, when I looked at all my punches? It looks like there might be something caught in here because I couldn't get my paper right up against the I couldn't line it up. Oh, I see. I almost missed punch because I wasn't lining up the little carrot, the little arrow, the little triangle, whatever we want to call that. So the way you know, because this recipe does call for something that stays attached. And so so in order to find one that stays attached, you want to pull a border cartridge that has the blue of the punch itself down here at the bottom. Okay, so that means that it's not going to fall apart. Let me just grab one. I just wanted to grab two other styles so you can see the difference, what I'm talking about. Okay. So this one, see how it has the silver. So basically the silver is what gets, you know, what you lose. That's your punch poop, if you will. Okay, so on here, you've got the silver all the way around, but see how it's the blue at the bottom, so it stays attached. So this one has silver on the top and bottom. So when you cut this one, you're actually, the seashells is just going to fall away. Okay, so that would be what I would consider like a true border, if you will, because you're going to get the border with it. I think practice, Yvonne, is important, but yeah, at Creative Memories, adding these little markings on the front has been key to making them sort of, much easier to use for sure, I think. So you've got the ones that stay attached and they have the blue at the bottom, same as the trimmer. The ones that fall apart, fall away completely, and they have the silver in the top and the bottom. Then you have the ones that are like punch out borders, right? So see how it's all blue around. So which means that your square edge of your paper is going to stay intact with this one. And what's going to happen is these little tools will fall out as the punch poop. So you can use the little tools as punches, on your paper, but also these tools will get punched out of your paper. So you'll be left with that hole where the punches were. So those are the 3 types of punches. And hopefully, if that's something that you struggle with when you're looking at recipes or when you're trying to decide which one to do, and you say, oh, darn, I thought this was going to be a border with these, and now it's just punched out of the paper. The other ones that do that are like the boot print one, that's like the hiking boot or the military boot. They punch out. But so that is a little lesson on your border punches. Okay, so that paper is done. Here I went putting it back up again. That's dangerous. I could shut out the whole thing. So our next paper I'm going to do is actually the white one. Is it? No, I think it's going to be this green one. All right. I think it may be my original plan was to be the white piece of cardstock. But now I'm going to just go with this one. Let me check the back to make sure if it matters if I decide to use the back side. So the first two cuts are just 2 inches, 2 by 12, super easy, 2 by 12, 2 by 12, and then 2 matte. So we're going to have some extra with this paper. So 2 inches, 2 inches, and then we've got 6.5. Now, this trimmer only goes to 5.5, and I can flip out that edge, but this would be a good opportunity for me to show you. Oh, you know what? Well, this one does go to 6.5, but that's not the way I want the 6.5. I want the 6.5 this way, and so that is going to work on there. Ugh. So we'll come back to the new trimmer in just a second. Let's flip this out. And the only reason I'm doing that, I could just cut it. I could have cut them at 4.5 and, you know, cut them the short way first. But wherever possible, I like to maintain a strip. And so this cut leaves you with a strip if you cut it the way we're cutting it here. If I were to cut these 4.5, I'd end up with these 2 little pieces. And I find that having this in my scrap, I am much more likely to use that at a later date. So there's the 6.5, and now I can go 4.5 and 4.5. And for some people, like they're, you know, I don't know. Some people don't even save. Like this is a chunk that's left over, and so is this. And they're really good at just saying, I am never going to keep up with this, so I'm just going to pitch it. And other people are like, oh, I better save this. Some people have rules I've heard for themselves. Like if it's bigger than their hand, then they save it. Like I said, I like to keep my strips. We all have our ways. But I would love to know what scrap size you all like to keep. All right. So my last piece is 1.5 by 12, 1.5 by 12, and then a 4.5, 2 4.5 by 6s. Okay. So if it's less than like 1 3/4, I like to cut this way so that more of my paper is, supported by the trimmer itself. When it's hanging off like that, only this part is keeping it from going wiggly. And so I like to do it there, but I was just about to cut it at 1 1/4, which would not have been good. All right. So 1.5 and 1.5. And then 4.5. And now, see, now I'm going to go back to this way so that more of my paper is supported. Well, hello, Denise. Welcome. I'm getting confused of where I'm keeping my keep pieces and where I'm keeping my extra pieces here. All right. Well, now I can switch over to this one. The new photo trimmer. All right. So this one is already at 4.5, and now I can cut it to 6. So for those of you, if you've got 8.5 by 11 pieces of paper, maybe you're predominantly a card maker, the new trimmer you're gonna love because you can cut an A2 and you can fit an 8.5 by 11 right in here and cut it 5.5. You can cut 4 by 6 mats. You can cut 5 by 7 mats. And it has a little flip out so that you can cut longer pieces all the way up to 10.5 on here. So it's so versatile if you haven't played with the new trimmer, and the fact that it stacks with the other one is super cool too. All right, so we are all cut and ready to assemble. Let's do it. This is the fun part. I'm going to keep my map handy so I know what I'm doing there. I'll start with the left page. Like I said, I'm going to use I think it's clay. Ugh, why can't I? Why can't I remember that? So this piece is going along the bottom, and then we've got this G piece that goes on top. Again, I don't know why. I don't know why I feel very dark here today. All of my lights are on. I have 1, 2, I can't tell you how many lights I have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different lights on. I think it's just me. Okay. Yes, this is the sketch. Yvonne, this is the sketch. It's the project recipe, School Days project recipe. But as I always with my project recipes, I rarely actually use the pages used in the recipe. And you can still get the project recipe out on my website on DaytonaAreaScrapbooking.com if you register for today's project recipe. All right, so the G is this paper, and that's the blue. So that's how I know that goes up there. And I've got these little guys. So this one goes up here. And that is the little piece. And then K. What is K? K is this thin piece. Okay. So that's how this is going here. So this piece goes here. See if we can get it all on there. That piece goes like that. This piece goes here. This piece comes all the way up onto that white. And that goes like that. Oh, and I'm missing, that bag is here. All right, so there's lots of mats going on here, but that's the layout. And I like using the reverse of that. I think that'll work out. I'm gonna get into my small pod here. This is where I keep my tape runners. And I know we all have a bunch of tape runners, but I probably have more than most because, of course, I use them at classes and different things. So I have a whole small pod of them. But probably by the time you have all of your different types, right? Your mini, your repositionable, your regular, your vellum, now the extra strong, then your precision point, your foam squares. We do have a lot of adhesive, so it's nice to have a place to keep them all in. And those small pods at just $12.50, I think are a steal, honestly. Honestly, I do. So I'm just going to put all these on here. And then I'll work on the pictures. So I am going to use the reverse of this. Of this size here. Oof. You know, I'd thought about possibly using the reverse side of this, but that is too much for me. It'd probably be fine once it's covered. I do find that when I'm picking prints, sometimes I'm a little shy about using something that's super printy. But when it comes right down to it, by the time you put a picture over the whole thing, you hardly, see the print. All right, so now we're just gonna it's probably why I was drawn to this project recipe. It's very symmetrical. Shared in the past. I am kind of drawn to this symmetrical pages, and you can see these pages are mirror images of each other. And let's see. Now we got to do this part in reverse. So I'm going to use this other page. I'm going to put it up next to it so that I can get my placement exactly the same on both sides. Now they're not going to be touching, although you could flop the whole recipe and I could do it like this for sure. But if I'm going to keep it the way it's shown, these won't be touching, but that way I know that they're that they're the same. So I can just use them. Use it as a guide. For some of you, that might just be too symmetrical for you. You might be like, oh, it's too matchy. And you might want to off-road it. All right, well, that was a fairly quick project recipe for sure. So this is it reversed. This is the way it was pictured. And now it's time to throw our pictures on. And in case you missed it at the top, I'm going to be putting pictures from our retreat to Savannah, which was retreat number 46 for me, my 46th retreat of the Memory Maniacs. I know I want to put, obviously, this group picture right here. Oh, that's funny. I have it. I was like, wait a second. I thought these were on the outside. Okay. I see. I kept it the other way. All right. And then I want to put this nice picture of sunset in Savannah. And then I'm going to put this picture of ice cream there. So let's just do that first. On our sketch, on our project recipe, it tells us 5.5 by 4. So we just cut off a little off the ends. So that it's at 6 right now. So I'm going to do a 1/4 inch off at each end since we're fairly centered there. All right. So that will be done. And then these are 4 by 3. So I'm going to just cut that right down the middle of those two pictures. Put that over there. Now I can stick these down. I did print extra pictures because, again, if you've watched me before, sometimes I'll take that project recipe, and since I like to fit as many pictures as I can on the page, sometimes that's when I'll pull out my custom cutting system and kind of see where I can sneak in a few more pages. So here we are having ice cream at Leopold's and nice sunset. That's our group photo of all of us in Savannah. And then now for this page, we did took a trip on the Georgia Queen, which is the little paddle wheel boat. And we had a nice little history lesson. And now here's a picture of the room. I think I can take the entire 1/2 inch off this side. It's just a picture of the scrapbook room where we were. A lot of ceiling, but sometimes when you have a lot of that, then that's where I can envision where I can put a circle right here because I can cover over this ceiling part or this ceiling part overlapping and not, or down here and not, you know, lose any of the picture. So I could put that picture of Kirsten there. She finished an album that weekend. We had 4 ladies finish albums this past weekend in Mount Dora. That was super exciting. And actually Tracy finished 2 albums. She was doing digital books, and she popped out 2 digital books. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to circle these ones, and let's see, with Linda, Lori, Margie, and Jen. And except for Lori, let's see, 3 of these 4 ladies were in Mount Dora this weekend. So the memory maniacs. I'm feeling circles on all of these, just by the way they are. So they're just holding things that they won, I think. And Lori made the drive for this retreat down from Maryland, so that's always a treat when she joins us. So I'm going to use my custom cutting system. I've got my self-healing mat. I've got my green blade. It's the middle blade, so the red and the blue and the green. The red cuts closest to the template. The green is in between, and the blue cuts farthest. I better go with red on this. I don't want to lose any of Lori's beautiful hair. And all right. So I've got that one. And let's see. So with these ones, I don't get too riled up about that. I actually like sometimes when my pictures kind of go off the page or into a mat of something else. So I tend to not crop them unless I have know specifically what I'm going to do with them, like before I print them, because actually like if I were to crop this, my only option would be to use it as a 4x6, but by not cropping it, I can, I have some other options as far as circles and ovals and that kind of thing. And I just find it adds a little variety. All right. Okay. All right. So now I've got 4 circles, and if you've given up on your custom cutting system, I mean, I've had this custom cutting system for over 20 years. The blades got improved, I don't know, about 10 years ago. So if you have the blades that don't spin, you might want to treat yourself and invest in those. But, you know, if they're the thing that you've stopped carrying around to crops, I really find them helpful when I'm trying to fit more pictures on a page. Okay, so now I can come in here and I'll probably do, I've got some leftover white actually, so I'm going to add a journal box over here. And like I said, I can do some, I think that looks good. Maybe I'll just keep all the crop ones over here. Now I've kind of filled up this whole spot, this whole space down here. And actually now I'm thinking maybe I'll do a round journal box, since I've got a lot of round, so I got a lot of circles going on here. So kind of, that might be too much. Okay. So a layout that was just 6 pictures, now I've turned into 10. For better or worse. For some of you, this might be too crowded. But for me, especially going into my retreat book where I'm gonna just cut off the end of this one real quick so I can do like I did with Linda's over here and kind of push Jen that way a little bit. Move this up a little bit. All right. Now, somewhere around here, I had my, what did I do with it? I had this leftover white paper. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mirror that same 1.5 that was up at the top so I can repeat that measurement. Oh, well, whew. Good thing you snuck in there, Frida. All right, so then I can add a little journal box here. And then I'm going to do a circle. I just put it all away, but I'm going to pull it back out. And yeah, if there's anyone else that's watching that hasn't said hello, make sure you say hello so that you're entered to win. And don't forget to like too. All right, so now I can add, I just felt like all of the circles were over on one side with all of the people. And so I felt like I needed to add a circle journal box over here. And now I've lost my tape to kind of balance out. We were heavy on the circles, you know, over on the right side of the page. So now I've got another circle. And just real quick before we do our drawing, I'm going to hop into see what from the Welcoming Wood Blocks embellishments that I can use in here. Oh, that would be great, Kathleen. Please share that if you do. So I think I'm going to split this in half over here up in the corner. And this is 2.5. So I want to go like 1.25. Just to fill in that space up there. Again, since I've decided to take this to Circle Land, this layout, let's see, what do we got here? I think there's a little, tie that in there. I think there's another little, oh, a smile. That's what I was looking for. I think. All right. I think that'll do it. I don't know what I did with the little package, but I'll come back to that. Oh, what's this one? Noteworthy. All right, so now let's stick these things on here. All right. So there we go. Retreat number 46, Savannah, Georgia. All of the happy memory maniacs. All right. Can't wait to slide that into the album. Actually, I have to order a new custom album for my retreats because I have 2 albums full already of retreat pictures. And that is incredible to me. But I just started this, when I started doing lives during COVID, and it's amazing how, they add up. Just 1-2-page spread a month. And then next thing you know, you got 2 albums done. So if you've been scrapbooking for 20 years and you haven't completed an album, maybe just, don't put that much pressure on yourself. Just try to get 1 page a month. I think that's why I like the virtual crops so much, because the virtual crops, even if you just participate and just do 1 sketch in a virtual crop, just think about it. That's 12 2-page spreads. That's half of an album or a third of an album. So like I said, if you've been scrapbooking 20 years and you thought, geez, I haven't even completed an album yet, just try to take it just a little bit at a time. It's one of those things, how do you eat an elephant one bite at a time? So give yourself grace. We're all super busy. Just make it a goal to do 1 page a month. All right. Well, it's 1:00. And now those of you have to pivot to the rest of your day, whatever that may be. Maybe it's relaxing. Maybe it's watching a movie. Maybe it's back to work. So let's see who our lucky winner is, and hopefully they are with us. Yvonne, are you still with us? We'll wait for her to chime in. Hopefully she's still with us. And we can send her some CM credits. Are you on with us still? Gonna give it a couple seconds. Hopefully she'll be on. If not, we'll draw again. So don't go anywhere. Last time I had to draw a couple times, but whenever I do the drawing, when people see it's not them, sometimes they hop off. So don't hop off. All right, going. Oh, yay! Okay, great. You're here. That's wonderful. So 10 CM credits to you, Yvonne. If you can message me through Facebook, message Daytona Area Scrapbooking, your email address, I will put those in your CM account and you can spend them in the next 30 days. They do expire in 30 days, so you can place an order on the Creative Memories website using those 10 CM credits, and that's free shipping and a little extra. Well, thanks everyone for watching today. I appreciate you being on here and hanging out and watching Project Recipe. Don't forget, we get to do it again tonight at 7 for tool time. We'll have the rustic truck, we'll have the pinking and colonial blades, and I look forward to playing with some paper later today, and we're going to see what fun we can have with those tools. So see you at 7, And until I see you then, stay scrappy, my friends. Bye-bye.